Окей. Дивимось на камеру і кажемо щастя. Готові? 3, 2, 1.
Щастя!
Щедрик, щедрик, щедрівочка, прилетіла ластівочка, стала собі щебетати, господаря викликати. Вийди, вийди, господарю, подивися на кошару. Там овечки покатились, а ягнячки народились. В тебе товар весь хороший, будешь платить мирку грошей. В тебе товар весь хороший, будешь платить мирку грошей. Гроші чита лава, чика направо, чочні гроші до полова. В тебе жінка чорна права. Щедрик, щедрик, щедрівочка, прилетіла ластівочка. Дing-ding-dong, ding-ding-dong, ding-ding-dong, ding-ding-dong.
Good eye.
Hello.
Hello.
How you going, mate?
Yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So we're just waiting on Jayden? Is that the idea?
I'm Jayden. We're
Oh,
waiting
you're
on Tom.
Jayden.
Yes.
Sorry, of course you are. There it says Jayden Stevens. Oh, very good.
Okay, cool.
Then are we waiting on anybody else?
Tom.
Tom.
Swinburn.
I know that. Tom Swinburn. I'm sure you got everything right. Okay, good. I put on my wide angle. You look like you have a wide angle on too.
No, it's just a MacBook.
That's what I have, but I put on a wide angle lens because I was doing a bit of a guitar lesson for my friend, and it was easier to show him chords because the guitar width wasn't getting cut off, you know?
Yeah, yours
Just
looks a little fisheye.
It's a little fisheye, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's all right. It only improves my looks. All right. Well, it's good to meet you. And
yeah. How's it going over there?
You're not the first Australians I've had on, so I'm kind of used to the time. I'm actually, in fact, I've had recently a New Zealander.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, and I did an event with a Zoom event with somebody from Australia and somebody from LA. So that was tricky because really there aren't a lot of time frames where it works for both. So I mean, the one in Australia had to get up really early in the morning.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you in America?
I'm in the East Coast, so I'm just north of New York City.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I would typically be in New York City, but I left last summer because I just didn't want to be doing any more quarantining inside of a city apartment.
Yeah.
It's going crazy.
I was living in Montreal when the pandemic happened, and I got out of there and moved back to Australia. So yeah, I was there when it all started going down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was that did you consider that your permanent home?
Yeah, I was there on a 2-year working visa.
Okay. Where were you in that 2-year time frame?
Well, we'd only been there for 8 months, and then Corona hit, so we came home.
Yeah.
But I was pretty much the whole time in Montreal.
Yeah. I have a good friend who lives there. She's it's not you probably made the good decision because they, for a while they were doing quite well, Canada, but not now.
Yeah. It's all still locked down there as far as I know. Bars and everything like that are all still shut.
Yeah. Yeah. Between Canadians and Australians, that's a disaster.
I know. That's all we want to do is go out.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll just text Tom, see where he is.
It's only a minute after 11 your time, right? It's still, yeah.
No, but he's texting me, so I'm just like, oh, do you know we're doing this? Okay. But yeah, I was in New York in summer, and it was just rough. Oh, I don't know how people do it there. It's like the buildings heat up, and it just becomes
everything
it's just unbearable.
Thank God thank God for the underground heat, from the subway system. Thank God for that, because it just makes it even hotter and more sticky. Yeah, no, I don't miss that.
Trash starts to smell. All the trash heats up and stinks.
Yeah. Everything sort of gets exaggerated quite a bit from the heat, all the smells in New York. But Yeah, where I am up here now, it's really delightful. The summer was fantastic. I mean, it's just all the seasons are. We're having a lot of snow this winter. It's our
So
winter
you
now. So
upstate New York?
yeah. Well, now you do know the Northeast, so I could say, yeah, I'm up in the Hudson Valley, and it's been.
I've been to Cold Spring.
Yeah,
that
I'm
little
not
town
far.
up there.
Yeah, pretty close to there. Not too far. A little north of there. Probably another
It's beautiful.
30, 40 miles. But
Oh, cool.
you know the general area. Yeah, right on the Hudson.
Oh, it's amazing. I was there in winter. It was really lovely.
Yeah. You know, when you're like in that area, it's just beautiful no matter what the climate, right? You know. But yeah, my biggest regret, I mean, is I have not made it to Australia in my life yet.
Yeah.
That needs to be rectified.
It's all right.
Dying to go.
Nah, it's cool.
I'm dying to travel farther distances, and I think this has only fueled my appetite for that. Being such a strong sense of being stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I made the move because I don't feel stuck really, but I know I am.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all kind of stuck still. So hopefully things will change in the next year.
Yeah.
Over the course of the year.
It's a bloody long flight.
Yeah. Sometimes I imagine it is, but that's all right. Sometimes people occasionally have trouble with the link. Did he respond to your text?
No.
It can be weird. Like I actually throughout the day, once in a while, sometimes if I do this in the evening, I forget. And fortunately, that is not the case here. But we can talk about. Well, did a family? Did it play in Australia yet? Has it had an Australian festival premiere yet?
Yeah, it premiered at the Melbourne International Film Festival.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was awesome. And they actually they gave us a little bit of money for post. So it was part of they have a thing called the MIF Premiere Fund.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of that funding, you premiere at the festival, which is awesome.
I see. It's a reward or something. Did you get? Are you guys first time filmmakers? Feature film?
I am. Yeah. Tom has shot. I think he shot 2 and directed one himself. All very micro budget films. He's texting me back now. Okay. Where's Filmwax? What is he doing?
We can really embarrass him.
And then, we had another screening at the Perth Revelation Film Festival last year, but that was during COVID, so that was an online one.
Okay.
So we're lucky to get in and have before COVID hit and actually have the real experience with everyone in the cinema and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
He's saying I got no email. I'll just forward it to him.
Sure. That is a very fortunate thing, considering how many filmmakers really, just got, I don't want to say cheated, but it is a sense of feeling cheated out of their, like in-person festival premiere for, especially if it's your first one. My God, it must be.
Oh, I know. I would have been devastated after, you spend 5 years on this thing and comes to the premiere. That alone is devastating. I just feel so. Years. I mean, it happened to us, but at least we got at least one, or 2 screenings in before it happened. Some people didn't get any. Right.
No, that's my point. I mean, it's a great, great thing. There was where I am up here, there's a festival called the Woodstock Film Festival, because I'm pretty close to Woodstock. Yeah. And they actually, that festival, they screen film. It's a unique in the festival in the sense that they use different theaters in different towns in the general vicinity. Mm-hmm. Although, frankly, you could travel quite a distance between the 2 furthest locations. And in the course of a day, you might want to see films that, you know, it's kind of could be a headache. And you have to have a vehicle to. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jayden. It was really nice talking with you. And I wish you luck.
Thanks for that.
Film.
Cheers.
Take care. God bless. How you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Both of your places are very, very nifty looking. I mean, I'm looking and it just looks like you guys are there's a bit very civilized looking apartments you've got, or houses.
This is a granny flat, which is actually a friend of mine's, and so I'm only renting it temporarily, so that's why it looks so nice. Otherwise, I'd be in a barn somewhere.
I like that it's got a piano, though.
Yeah, I know. I can't play though.
You got a piano.
An opportunity, Jayden.
I know.
Take lemons.
I'll take that opportunity.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're already recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the show.
And action.
This is what I sadly think people want to hear. You got very good lighting. Both of you are good. Very good. Appreciate that.
Cool.
How's your audio and Tom?
Yeah, I'm good now. Yeah.
Okay. So we're just shooting the breeze. I did find out that the festival had an in-person premiere, festival-wise, back at the Melbourne International, which has a great reputation. I've heard of it, and I, would look forward one day to actually being able to go to such a film festival in person.
Yeah, so really
I could show up in Melbourne. So, guys, I'm counting on you to make that work out. Make it happen.
You can stay here.
Homework. And have them fly me out, put me up. I'll take a granny flat, whatever that is. I don't care. Anyway, but yeah, we were just talking about that, Tom, before you got on that, and then you had the Perth Festival, which was virtual, but still. What I was about to tell you is that up here in the fall, it was still kind of warm enough where the certain festivals in the States anyway, and maybe you're doing this also Dinanda, but that we have these drive-in movie theaters. Do you have those?
Oh yeah.
Great.
There's one
There's
up
not
in
many
Coburg.
left. Yeah, there's one left in town that I know of.
That was so much fun. So they were able to get some of those. They used 2, maybe even 3. I think they actually used 3 different drive-ins. It was very ambitious. So there were a bunch of it's not obviously as a filmmaker, you're standing out there, doing your Q&A and you're facing a bunch of cars. It's not exactly what you signed up for necessarily, but then everybody's like, hollering and honking their horns. Yeah, it's still worse. You saw. Maybe did you see any of the our presidential the candidates stumping outside the Biden did, where people were mostly in their cars at these rallies because of course in Trump's rallies they just stood next to each other and coughed all over each other, but so anyway, there's that. Is the Melbourne Film Festival, is that one during the warmer climate, or
it's in winter pretty much, isn't it? August.
Cold?
So,
you cold to do
it's chilly.
I mean, you could, it's probably impractical, but you could still do it anyway.
Well, it's in Melbourne City, so you can move around quite easy. It's a good one like that.
Well, Slamdance is going to get very annoyed at me. They're saying, why is he spending the entire time talking about Melbourne Film Festival? Well, you guys are in Australia. But congratulations on Slamdance. Were you familiar with the festival?
Yeah, big time.
Oh, good. Have you both? Well, I know that Jayden, you've been to the States and you maybe spent some time here. Tom, have you been to the States before?
Yeah, I've spent a bit of time in the US.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably spent more time than I have.
I was in Texas for almost a year, and New York for best part of a year.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
familiar with your country.
And where were you in Texas?
Austin, which is
that is good.
Yeah, I was reading about it this morning. It seems awful
Oh my
down there
God.
at the moment.
What's going on?
Freak weather.
Freak weather, and look what it's done. You know, they're in big trouble. Anyway, tell me about your film. Well, I was sent all these films, and I just kind of was picking them off. And I saw one film before yours, and I was like, it's all right. Didn't thrill me. Slamdance is pretty impeccable. But when I got to your film, I was like, this is really good. This is entertaining. This is fun to watch. You know, it's like, it's such a, it's very dry, very, you know, it's almost absurdist in its approach, but it's very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
So well done. Why don't you tell me, why would you guys, why did you guys choose to make a film, a Ukrainian story? How did that come about? Yeah, that's it. Question asked.
Well, is it a Ukrainian story?
Yeah, it's not really. It's the backdrop's Ukraine, but it could probably find similarities of that story in any culture or country. I think there's universal themes in there.
Sure are.
But definitely wasn't. We definitely didn't go there looking to replicate, you know, reality or anything like that. It was purely using the place as a backdrop to tell the story the way, you know, we felt it should play out, which was kind of in a strange, mysterious place that had no real timestamp that you could kind of label it with. There was wanted to always be that sort of mystery involved, and when you have little money like we did, you can't build sets, you know, to create that vision. You got to go find them, and so Ukraine is just such a special place, and a lot of it feels like it hasn't changed in 50 years. They still drive cars around, and you know, it's crazy like that. So it was a perfect place to do it. And it was also, at the end of the day, it was an adventure, you know, like we talked about this a bit, but, you know, making our first film, wanted to just go somewhere, you know, travel somewhere, and then you're there just to do that. And you come home, hopefully with something in the can. Whereas you do it in your hometown, you know, life can get in the way, people drop out.
It's true.
You just go there and you just do your best and come home with something. And that was kind of like,
there's a strong imperative. This is going to work because we have no choice.
Exactly. And you're spending 24 hours a day. You're just there to do that, you know, so you put so much into it. I think that really helps.
I think there's something about Eastern Europe, and, you know, in this case, it's has a history of struggle, you know, economic, perhaps. These are not, you know, it's interesting. I'm interested to know what if did your actors, were they funny? I mean, they're playing so straight, these roles, without a hint of a wink to the camera, of irony. You know, it's so I'm just wondering, I assume, of course, the actors, in order to do their job, knew what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Well, the resting, collective resting face in that part of the world is a blank expression. They're not smiling people on the street.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been told that it's just, you never sort of smile at strangers or you keep everything in. And I don't know if that's, I mean, Jayden and I, as lovely as these people are, there is a sense of mistrust in their society. And we found that out through having to pay cash there's no insurance over there, more or less. We have to pay cash.
Okay, why don't you just start with that? I know why you filmed there now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was quite a challenge just to rent gear, you know, and like they wanted our passports as insurance, wasn't it, Tom? Like with the camera, yeah.
And do you remember Tarek didn't even have a bank account because he didn't trust the bank.
Yeah.
Wow. Which one was that?
Yeah.
The main
Oh,
one?
No, he was
He's a friend. Yeah.
Okay.
And everything's in US dollars too, so they don't like using their own money. Yeah.
You know, yeah. Like, well, I mean, I was just reading about, I think it's Ecuador in South America. Their economy completely it's they don't have one essentially there, and their currency is the US dollar. So, but anyway, that's fascinating. That's fascinating stuff. So what kind of conversations were you, first of all, did you cast, are any of these people professional actors? Did any of them have, I ask because they're so natural, extraordinarily natural. There's not a self-conscious moment that any of the actors seem to bring to the camera. So I'm wondering if that's completely because they have absolutely no experience and no idea what you're getting at, or the opposite.
Our two leads had a bit of experience just in that sort of amateur theatre, community theatre, maybe a few little ads here and there. Nothing I would call like professional.
Right.
The family members we cast, like the brother and the father, all those people were non-actors. Like the brother, he's a dentist and a tour guide. I don't really know what the father does. He's a bit of a mystery.
Better not to ask, maybe.
Yeah, the mum's definitely not an actress. So, yeah, I don't know.
So how did you find it? Through word of mouth, through connections?
There's a website that was just kind of like a community, so you could put your picture up. You guys probably have that in the States. We have it here called Star Now. It's pretty much you can just put your photo up and you can answer casting calls for any sort of short films.
They call it Tinder here.
Craigslist. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Craigslist. That's how I found this apartment, to be honest.
Yeah, that's how we wrote this film. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, we just pretty much
really cast through a Craigslist type of.
Yeah, like we found faces and then we auditioned them that way. Yeah.
Just by looking at pictures?
Yeah, we had 2 weeks of people just coming in every day from the internet. We'd see them and say, oh, that guy, that girl, blah, blah, they look interesting, come in.
They don't have show reels.
Yeah, so, and then you just whittled it down. But in terms of the performance, as you were saying, I think maybe as well, because we're doing such long takes, after a while, whatever it was they were putting on starts to slip away and they just fall into their own sort of state where it's just them. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we cast people not for performance, but how close they were to those characters, that was kind of, what you can do when you have people who are amateur, I guess, was finding the traits that resembled the character. And I think that was what made them so good.
I was thinking that almost their, how do you describe their personality? They're, I guess, antisocial on some level, not in a bad way. I'm trying to figure out how to exactly describes them, but there's an antisocial nature. Maybe it goes back to what you're saying about trust, about showing your emotion, all this stuff. So it kind of almost helps that they're amateur in that way, because being an actor is all about exposing your emotional life, right, and probing it.
Yeah, I think if this was a really emotional script, it would have turned more theatrical, which I noticed a lot there. We'd see some like TV and things are really big on television and film and theater. Like their performances would get like, Greek tragedy-esque in a way. So this was very different to what they were used to, and they probably didn't get it a little bit. So yeah.
Well, but we did lean into that as well. The uncle who was probably the most experienced from all of them, the character who has the monologue by the window, he was performing quite a bit. So we just thought, okay, we'll give him this melodramatic monologue to still make it absurd.
Yeah, and it was funny that he felt And it was also funny the way when he could deliver it. So like the words were quite absurd, but he was delivering it in such a passionate way. We found that quite funny too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same with most of the dialogue, there's that contrast between the landscape of this bleak landscape, and then they're talking about burritos, and like just
Right.
absurd as shit. So that was, that's for us what we loved about it and what we found really interesting.
We're shooting there. How long did you shoot for? A few weeks?
Shot for a month. Yeah, we were there for 3 months almost, and we had 5 weeks pre where we just hit the ground running. Got a train into Kiev from Poland, from Warsaw, and then we just hit the ground running and started. We just, as soon as you set that date, it's on, and that was what we did. We set the date, and the clock started ticking, and goes back to what I was saying before. It's like we got to do it, And it was
Renegade,
the pressure was, the pressure was on.
Where did you guys just like rent a spot, or did you get like an Airbnb type of thing where you just got somebody's apartment and set up camp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We set up camp in one of the worst areas he could have set up. This was in the parliamentary space during what seemed to be threatening another. Well, actually, speaking to the Ukrainians, this is normalized for them, but we were in quite a secured, heavily armed part of town with army guards in busloads and people at the front of our buildings holding guns all day. And there were a couple of weeks where we couldn't actually leave our place. We had to walk further down to get taxis and things because the streets were blocked off.
Yeah. At one point there was a car bombing, and a guy got killed. And we were sitting there having tea at like 2 in the afternoon, having a cup of tea. We just had this big boom. What the fuck is that? And we went down to the main drag, and it was like a Russian.
It was a Georgian spy for the Russian
spy. Yeah, someone had blown his car up, and it killed him and I think his girlfriend might have been in the car too.
Yeah. Do you remember in the mornings they had those sticks that they had mirrors underneath, and they were checking all the cars for bombs.
Yeah.
Well, I do.
So
I do that.
We go get upstate New York. You don't do that.
You never know. Russians everywhere.
Yeah, well, we'd go get dinner, and we'd have to walk past these guys just AK-47s, and in Australia, there's no guns. No one has guns, so it was quite a like shit, And after a while, I think they kind of got to recognize us because we were passing them all day long, but they never gave us an inch or a nod or anything like that. But yeah, it was the biggest problem was we're worried shit was going to go down. We wouldn't be able to get out of town, and we couldn't shoot. And as I said, the time was ticking, and we had to get out of it. We only had a certain time in our visa, so we had to shoot. We had to get this thing done. So if there was any kind of unrest and we couldn't, literally couldn't get it out to the location and shoot, we're screwed.
There's an enormous amount of corruption, right? I mean, that's essentially what's fueling these like violent incidents, right? Because it's not like the Russians it's not that kind of skirmish between Putin and trying to take over the Ukraine again. That's not what's going on here. They're not going to bomb somebody's car, and that doesn't make sense. So it's just like a lot of retaliatory type of infighting going on between different fractions around.
Well, it started. The big thing is that in 2014 they had a revolution because they were supposed to join. They were supposed to join the EU, and that all.
Right.
Yeah, but then I think we were there when I can't remember, was Crimea annexed or something like that when we were there, and that's why it was really getting heavy.
Yeah, that was before us though.
Yeah, before we got there. Yeah, so it was heavy when we were there about all that stuff.
Right,
pretty sure. And I think because Kiev's like the big city, there's a lot of Russians there and a lot of Ukrainians there, and there's a lot of.
It's one of those cities probably that just gets a lot of spy versus spy going on there. Too.
Yeah. And we were pretty adamant when it came to translating the film and doing the dialogue. Everything should be in Ukrainian. No Russian words were allowed.
Right.
So we were
Well, they wouldn't. I'm sure they
pro,
appreciate. Yeah.
pro Ukraine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they loved. They loved that.
I bet. But what did they think of? Did the actors and they just sort of were after very quickly they just adapted and just figured, well, these two Australian guys, they must know what they're doing. Did they question why would you come here? We want to go where you are.
Do you remember that night we were filming on location? One of the few times at the front of some convenience store, and that woman was just berating us. She thought we were Americans.
Oh.
And she was berating
No
us
offense.
and berating.
I'm used to it.
Berating Ollie, our producer, like, how could you work with these people? This is awful. And she just wouldn't leave us alone.
Yeah.
So I think that was the
working
friction.
with who?
She thought we were Americans, and she was berating our Ukrainian producer for
the
working
Ukrainian
with
producer.
Americans.
Yeah. Why would you work with Americans? Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Americans ask ourselves the same things, Why would, these days.
I think there's a richer history between America and Russia than there is, Australia.
Yeah.
I really don't know if they had met any Australians before either. So we were just foreigners, all could be.
Most of you guys tend to come to places like, I don't know, America.
Yeah.
But
it actually wasn't easy to get a visa to get there. We had to send I had to send my passport away and wait. And There was a lot of up in the air. Am I going to get it? And,
Yeah. Interesting. Well, it's. I mean, I didn't go into the details, but of the synopsis of the story. But I'll post that in the notes. People will know. Do you guys have a trailer? I forget. You do, right? So I'll show that before this segment, so people can get a sense of what you're doing with the film.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to call it I guess a comedy. I think it's a comedy, and not because you're mocking people in here, but just because of it's almost like a absurdist comedy with this sort of other thing going on over it. But the idea of what you're getting at beneath, or behind these people, who are all kind of have a bizarre thing going on with their lives, but that's funny. You can, but the fact that they're trying to create this mock family and belong and create something that gives them their life meaning or structure or what, connectivity, whatever it is that they get out of it. It's kind of deep, right?
Yeah. That's what we always
I'm glad you said it was absurdist rather than nihilist, because we've had a couple of comments on its nihilism, and for us, that's not at all what it is. It is these people in this world who have they know there's inherently no meaning, but yet they're trying to form these connections and its purpose. So it is absurdist at its core.
It's not giving away too much to say it's as though they lost family and they created scripts in a way that they've hired people to reenact their family members.
Yeah.
This one guy hires these people to come in and portray his family. You don't know why. It's beside the point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's all, you can make up your own sort of mind as to why you might think, and that's probably more interesting to us than putting it giving it to you and
I agree,
making that call. But then there's there's also other characters in there too that are doing the same thing, and you come to realize they actually have each other. They don't need to do this anymore.
That's right.
But they don't
give away too much.
That out. Yeah, exactly.
Don't give away too much. But I will say that that's where, in a way, the humor is in those kinds of that you don't know why they're doing it. I mean, and then you come to these realizations. It's sort of funny. I mean, on a certain level. I mean, I don't know if you'll be laughing out loud. Some people may. Well, you had a live screening where they were laughing. I'm going to guess people were laughing.
Yeah.
Australians have a good sense of humor, and they probably had a couple of loggers going.
Oh yeah. It's funny. We always found the biggest laughs. They're always the people in the very, very front row. Did you notice that, Tom? And then the lights come on. They're usually quite
like
old.
Waves.
Older people. And we're like, oh, they're really getting that humor.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
Maybe just they sat in the
Probably
front.
made similar mistakes.
I always saw the film. I was always really inspired by Monty Python in a way for some of it. Probably, I don't know if you can read it in that, but I always found it was like for me, it was almost like mixing Monty Python with like the most bleak art house film, and like those two coming together would just create this weird contrast. I
wasn't going from the humor side. I was kind of going more for the dramatic kind of tone to it, the big long takes and everything. I was thinking about the Romanian film movement, which is Eastern European, and it feels pretty kind of almost related to, but those are nihilistic. Let's be honest about it. No, but these guys, I think you're right, Tom. I think these people were trying to create something and to give them a sense of, life and affirmation of some kind and love, or they wanted more. They were reaching for more in there, I think. So, yeah.
Everyone's missing something, and they're all trying to find it.
True.
Fill that void.
Yeah. It's called A Family. It's co-directed, right, by Jayden Stevens and Tom.
We co-wrote it.
Co-directed.
Tom shot it. Yeah, I directed it. Yeah.
It's a very collaborative effort. Do you want to mention the actors?
Definitely.
Just mention the actors, so in case they happen upon this and they, maybe they'll recognize their names. I don't want to hear you pronounce them.
You're pulling me.
Butcher a few names for me.
Okay,
or just at least a couple.
Pablo,
in Australia, we like to shorten things, so just give them the shortened version.
PL, our lead actor, PL, Pavlo Lanky.
Okay.
Ludmila is our other lead actress. But we should give a big shout out to our producer, Oli, who's our Ukrainian producer, who, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be talking to you right now. Would be never have made this film. So yeah, if it wasn't for her, none of this would happen, because
she put everything together.
She put everything together.
Right.
Yeah, everything.
And she must have done a lot of translating too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of translating. Yeah. I mean, none of the actors spoke English, so everything was through her.
Did they grow an affection for you guys? Do you feel like at the end they felt like you were their friends?
Totally. Yeah.
That's nice. Well, I feel the same way.
Hey, thank you.
People can go to slamdance.com, purchase a $10 pass, even at this point, which is probably Thursday or Friday, or still got another. What's today? It's got another week of Slamdance. While we're recording this, there's another week, so there's plenty of time to see a lot of content. But see A Family. I'm going to recommend people see it. Caught me off guard. I did not know you guys, but I love this. I like. I got a big screen for myself here. It's not crazy big, but it's pretty nice size, and I can just do the virtual film festival at home right now, as I have no other choice. And this was one of those nice gems that I look forward to. So I was glad when you reached out, because got to meet you guys and talk about A Family.
Cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad you dug it.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah. Well, stay in touch.
Yeah. If you're ever in Australia, you can crash here.
Appreciate it. As soon as I can, we can start traveling again. I think that's my destination. I got to check out that part of the world for sure. Thank you. Take care.
Cool.
All right, and
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. It should be
all right. Thanks, Adam.
I'll post it. I'll probably post it like overnight. Actually, I don't really edit the video unless I accidentally call somebody a horrible disgusting name or something. But no, I and now I'll promote
When
it.
we started rolling, I'm trying to remember. You didn't really say we were on, did you? You just started.
That's kind of what I do because I just feel like I just got into the habit. I don't do it consciously anymore, but I used to realize that, and this will make sense to a filmmaker with a camera. I don't know if you've ever made documentaries, or been on a documentary set, but one thing that I realized is the moment you say kind of action and you say let's start, there's a little bit of level of self-consciousness that has to enter it. There's because you're all of a sudden, you're just now on camera. I mean, it's not always the case, but so I just felt early on, if I just start talking and am not abrupt about beginning that, but invariably many people will ask if like 10 minutes in, have we started? Because they just don't. I
got start thinking about what they said. Oh shit!
I would never. Well, I always like give people also if there's anything that comes up, just let me know. I'll take it out. It's never, and it has happened. People realize they shouldn't have. I don't know, mentioned something or somebody, or things come up. Marriages have been destroyed, but I can't help
from your podcast.
All right, good on you.
All right, cool, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice meeting you both. Thank
yeah.
Same
Stay
to you.
well.
Okay.